Tēnā koutou ina mana whenua, ko Te Aotearoa, ko Wendy Spiller, toko ingoa, Counties Manukau East Area Commander, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. These innovative and passionate leaders are the founders of Otara Blue Lights TeHuringaOTeTaiOngaWahine program, Turning of the Tide for Young Girls, a program developed and implemented by New Zealand Police and Otara Blue Light in partnership with business and community agencies. This journey started 5 years ago in 2015 when Counties Manukau East Youth Aid staff identified a significant increase in the offending of young Māori and Pacific girls aged 14 to 18. They were committing offences such as predominantly stealing cars, failing to stop police pursuits, assaults, thefts and robberies. It was as if these young girls had adopted the adage, anything boys can do, girls can do better. But unfortunately, it was for all the wrong reasons with very negative consequences. They were putting their safety and that of the community in jeopardy nearly every day, seeking to become notorious on social media and living up to keeping up with the boys. They were also living up to the negative media image of Otara youth and the negative crime culture that was being promulgated.
Fuck the world, ayo, ayo, that's us, slip money's up cuz. Fuck pigs, we outlaws. Fuck pigs. Oh man. Driving on the wrong side and all cars. Fuck cops. Driving on the wrong side of the motorway. Yeah, what is... They stopped there.
This offending and these behaviours were a real burgeoning risk that could not be resolved by police alone. We needed passionate partners to work collaboratively to do something different to stem this tide of young female offending. Scanning revealed 6 core factors. All these young female offenders and girls at risk were Māori and Pacific. They all had links to young male offenders who were committing the same offences, whether that was familial links, brothers, cousins, uncles, or links through boyfriends, neighbourhood boys, or boys from school. These girls had significant links to gangs that were often intergenerational. The girls were witnesses to and or victims of family harm. They lived predominantly in Otara, Clover Park, Flatbush, and those girls that were actually enrolled in school weren't attending regularly or actually weren't attending at all. Interviews with these young girls by our youth aid staff revealed a common theme.
Being a 16-year-old Māori girl from Otara, I'm expected to be pregnant, in a gang, or on the benefit, a criminal. This is normal.
Additionally, the growing youth population in this area meant that a large number of younger siblings and other local girls were potentially being recruited and influenced to adopt the same offending and negative behaviour. In reality, this rise in female youth offending was not going to go away. In fact, it was highly likely that it was going to increase and get far worse. Analysis revealed further what the scanning had identified, and our hypothesis was female Māori youth in the Otara area are offending and re-offending because of a strong gang presence in the community, a negative mindset against police, lack of self-worth, and are disengaged from their culture, community, and society. Using the crime triangle, we focused our offenders, which were also often our victims, our young wahine aged 14 to 18, in a specific place, location, that being Otara. Collectively, the team agreed that often it is girls, it is women that set the standards and the rules for what happens in whānau and in relationships. And if we could empower these young girls to believe in themselves, to be confident, to say no, to set the standards for themselves, their whānau and their relationships, it could make a long-term change, not only for them, but for their community. We thought that these young girls that were the problem were in fact the solution. And that being the case, the catalyst for significant, positive, long-term, transformational change.
Kia ora, talofa. My name is Solo Suomasi. I am born and bred in this community of Otara, and I will probably be buried there. Otara Blue Light has been providing activities and events in the Otara community for over 20 years. Otara Blue Light is a branch of the National Blue Light Ventures organisation. I have been part of Blue Light for the last 14 years, 9 of which I was employed as a youth worker with the police, working specifically in the Otara community. If you were part of a team that had 80 plus years experience in policing and working with young people in your community, wouldn't you have a go? Wouldn't you bank on all that experience to do something different and know that it was going to work? In 2015, we said yes. We knew that if we didn't try anything different, if we didn't utilise our 80 years experience, collective knowledge and collective skills, then these young wahine would continue on with their lives. The stats tell us that these young wahine would be at high risk of offending and reoffending. So we wanted to disrupt their negative behaviour, their victim mentality, and their anti-police mindset. We also knew that given the voluntary nature of our program, our follow-up process would be very limited given our limited resources. Regardless of that, we believed that we could do it. We also knew that eventually we would need someone full-time to follow up these young wahine, to improve our contact and to improve our outcomes. We also knew that we needed the right people and organisations to lead this program. Our relationship with the local police spans 20 years. The unique thing about Otara Blue Light is that our police who have been part of Blue Light or are currently on Blue Light were either brought up in Otara, still live in Otara, or had policed in the Otara area for many years. To address this issue, we knew we had to align ourselves even more with the police. Given the current police issues with young Māori wahine and the cultural component of our program, we adopted the police strategy for reducing crime and road trauma among Māori, the turning of the tide. We decided to translate the name of the strategy into Māori, which became the name of our program, TeHuringaOTeTaiOngaWahine, the turning of the tide for young girls. We also knew that we could not move forward with this program until we not only consulted with mana whenua, but developed a working relationship with mana whenua. Ngāti Tamaoho is local mana whenua for Otara. Rachel Petero, who you will hear from later, is from Ngāti Tamaoho and is the current chair of the Ngāti Tamaoho Trust. Rachel facilitated a workshop as part of our very first camp in 2016. She has been on our Otara Blue Light committee ever since. We now have the key players on the board to make this program happen. We have the community through Otara Blue Light, our local police and mana whenua Ngāti Tamaoho, contributing to the turning of the tide vision of all Māori will have full and prosperous lives free from crime and road trauma. The majority of us work at the bottom of the cliff. For this program, we wanted to be at the prevention, early intervention end of the spectrum. Not only did we just want to be at the top of the cliff, we wanted to be further away from the cliff, directing our rangatahi away from the cliff's edge. Our strength-based approach to this program would focus on their strengths, abilities, and aspirations. Building quality relationships was key to disrupting their negative behaviour, that victim mentality, and the anti-police mindset. It was also highly likely that these young wahine would be disconnected from their culture. So connecting them to tikanga Māori, kaupapa Māori, and te ao Māori would contribute to the positive change. Culture is a protective factor for our rangatahi that contributes to a healthy and proud self-esteem. In 2018, we were blessed to receive funding from the Vodafone Foundation, who allowed us to employ a youth worker to follow up our young wahine. In 2019, we were blessed again by the Sky City Foundation with another years of funding to continue the work of our employee. This funding runs out in August, just in case there are some purse holders out there. Along the way, we have been so blessed to be connected and have quality relationships with other community groups and our business and corporate sector. At this stage, we are extremely blessed with where we are today. Right now, we are not a small group trying to do big things. We want to do big things for our small group. Simon Sinek says, people don't believe in what you believe. People don't believe in what you do. People believe in what you believe. We believe.
Kia ora koutou katoa, malolele. My name is Sylvia Pauvali and I've been a part of Otara Blue Light for the past 3 years, 2 of which I was a volunteer and just over a year in my current role as youth worker. My first task was to contact our camp participants from 2016 to 2018, and we were able to establish that 89% had been positively influenced by their experiences from camp. Although for some there was mutual feedback from their whānau, teachers and referrers that there were some improvements, but it was a challenge of not having regular contact. In 2019, we transformed the camp into a 2-year program consisting of referrals. We introduced a whānau engagement event. To create a sense of whanaungatanga, there was a pre-engagement meeting to connect and build rapport. The camp continued as it had for the past 3 years because we knew that we were establishing positive relationships. Post-camp follow-up consisted of weekly mentoring, where we used Te Whare Tapawha as a model to provide an indication of what our young people might require. And to build self and safety awareness and empathy for others, we use Goldman's emotional intelligence model by reflecting with a looking back to move forward approach. For those not in school, we look at connecting them to alternative education aligned with their goals, help with CVs, job interviews, and driver's licenses. On a monthly basis, to continue to build the relationship between youth, their peers, and police, we run a monthly event that must have a cultural aspect, a learning outcome, or be an experience. One of our success stories is Ricky. We first met Ricky in 2017. She made a little bit of progress post-camp, making small improvements on her behaviour, but was inconsistent with continued truancy, defiance to teachers, and no respect for school rules. Ricky was not expected to finish secondary school, let alone academically achieve. In 2018, Ricky attended a life skills camp with some of our wahine and then continued to attend Otara Blue Light events throughout the year. Ricky started to show passion for positive change and was selected to attend in 2019 as a camp leader. Towards the end of last year, I received a text from Ricky asking if I was available to attend her school prize giving. She wasn't sure what she would be receiving, but joked that she was certain it would be for attendance. In her own words, "'cause I've stopped wagging now." Ricky received a heap of awards that night, one of them a scholarship to study hospitality management, and she progresses to pursue her dreams. Ricky and her proud mum often comment on how TeHuringaOTeTaiOngaWahine have given them hope and changed their mindset, and that Ricky's dream of one day running her own hotel was not just for herself, but to better her whānau. The following clip is features Ricky during our Governor General visit.
When I first started, I gotta say I was pretty shy and I didn't like to interact much. And then they kind of like awhi'd us, that means like supported us and helped us, uplifted us. And yeah, it's kind of got us to what we are now today, a leader of Otara Blue Light or TeHuringaOTeTaiOngaWahine.
Thank you.
Talofa lava, my name is Silwane. I grew up in Otara, so I have a strong affiliation and pride in my hometown. I've been in the New Zealand Pirimana for over 17 years, the majority of that time in counties Manukau East, and in Ufade for over 10 years. I've also been part of Otara Blue Light for 15 years. So how would we measure success? 1, reduced female youth offending and victimisation. This relates to one of our key strategies of the New Zealand Police, TeHuringa o Te Tai, or turning of the tide, in our business. It also impacts on one of our targets, reducing reoffending by Māori by 25% by 2025. 2, a mindset change with female youth to believe that they have choices about their future. 3, support and accessing employment pathways. 4, connectedness to society and others. 5, positive relationship with whānau, community and police. This again aligns with our business on 2 fronts. Our purpose, be safe, feel safe, and our vision, having the trust and confidence of our wahine, whānau and community. So have we achieved our response aim? In short, yes. There was a decrease in offending, reoffending using a strengths-based approach. We also exposed our wahine to many new opportunities. To determine this change, we use feedback from our schools, whānau and youth aid. We also use intel services for data, which you will soon see. Our camp highlighted the problem, raised community awareness, and started a ripple effect for change. We implemented our response as planned. Our stakeholders are supportive of our kaupapa, which is to seek improved outcomes for our wahine. Some of the additional positive outcomes or diffusion of benefits were a dramatic drop in Pacifica female offending in counties Manukau East, indirect positive influence on the girls' whānau and friends. Younger siblings are now following a more positive path, increased stakeholder partnership interests from all levels, and having a few girls from gang families helped us make inroads into their world and start showing police in a positive light. Their parents' caregivers are also aware that our intentions are to empower their girls for better and over time have welcomed us in. This graph shows how successful the program has been to date. Of the 63 participants so far, we have a 92% success rate. But what does success look like? Our next graph gives us a better view of what we mean. Of the 63 participants, 30 are still in school, with 13 attending tertiary studies. That's almost 70% of our cohort. Most of these girls were destined to drop out of education in some shape or form. 8 are in employment, 3 are teen mums but still supported through the program, 4 have left Auckland and 5 have reoffended. Again, a 92% success rate.
They appear to have come back this year with a bit more maturity and direction. They know where they want to be and finally understood that they are smart and can achieve great things. One spoke about becoming a cop, which I think back to year 10, their most likely answer to cops would be, them effing pigs. This is massive progress.
Our next graph is courtesy of our county's Manukau District Intelligence Unit. The blue line represents the number of occurrences and the orange line the number of offenders. In August 2016, the number of occurrences peaked at 150 as well as offenders at 100. Our first camp began the very next month in September 2016 and both lines started to decline. With each successive camp, you will note both the number of occurrences and offenders have dropped, that by December last year, we had 40 offenders and 45 occurrences, an overall reduction of 67%. This is a significant decrease in both occurrences and Māori Pacifica female offenders during this time period. What's staggering is when you consider a youth population for counties Manukau East has continued to increase in our area. The motto of the New Zealand Police is safer communities together. We can only achieve results like this when we work in relationship with community, mana whenua, local business and the corporate sector. Thank you.
Tēnā koutou e te iwi, nau mai hara mai. Ko Waiahau, ko Rachel Petero tōku ingoa, and I am looking at the clock and there is only 45 seconds to go. So, what do I have to say in 45 seconds? That this is a collective, and nothing happens without community, police, mana whenua, our corporate organisations, our whānau and our wahine. And so that is why we are here today. And yes, our funding runs out in August, so please come and see us. But honestly, this has been a privilege to be here, and we know that this program works. And the narrative that started at the beginning of this presentation is not the narrative that we have today. We are changing the narrative, and that's why we are here. And as I said before, we are here as a collective, so please come and be part of us. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Te whakapono.